ngisesele nami ngifane nabanye
Ngivulele amasango empumelelo
adozlam nami ngisesele ngifane nabanye
ngivulele amasango empumelelo
phela nami ngifuna ukuphumelela ngifane nabanye.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of KG and Lelo, everything about life. You know what, guys? Another exciting episode is here. So today we're gonna be talking to someone who I grew up with, which we will be introducing later in the show. Firstly, guys, we are seeing all your comments, we are seeing all your criticism, which we are trying by all means to try and absorb and bring improvement into the show. So keep them coming, don't be disheartened. If you see that there is a bit of gaps here and there, like, let us know. We are always open to make improvement and change. And please don't forget to subscribe. We need those subscriptions. I think at the moment we are on 81 subscribers.
Yes.
So please keep them going. And obviously my co-host is here with me. So Lelo, over to you.
Hi guys, I am so excited. Welcome to our episode, and I'm looking forward to getting to know this lovely lady.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this lovely lady, so to give you a bit of a background about this lady, I grew up in Middelburg, a small town in Middelburg in Mpumalanga. So I grew up with her from a very young age. We went to the same school, and actually when I first met this lady, I thought she was a snob, to tell you the honest truth, based on her accent. So yeah, Sheila, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself. Where are you from and stuff like that.
My name is Sheila. Like you said, she said we grew up together in Mpumalanga, but I actually was everywhere between Mpumalanga and Limpopo, and then came to Pretoria to study. Ended up living and studying in Pretoria. Stayed in Joburg for a bit, but I'm back in Pretoria. Between the two, I prefer Pretoria to Joburg. So studied fashion. Right now though, I am visual merchandiser for Valance, which is a furniture company, which is interior, which is great because career-wise, interior was actually my first option and fashion was my second.
Oh, nice.
So now interior found me. So
Yeah, and I think the reason why I wanted you to come to the show is to talk mostly about your fashion. So tell us about your fashion, your love for fashion, and why you chose fashion of all careers. I mean, there's so many. Why fashion?
It's just one of those things. Growing up, my mom showed me some pictures, some little drawings that I used to do. I like little drawings of dresses but because of where we grew up, the schools we went to, art wasn't really part of the things that we studied.
Yeah.
So everybody just assumed that it would be accounting because I was a bit good in accounting.
Oh.
So my dad thought accounting. So he was actually not so very happy when I decided fashion because I didn't do anything art related. So his words were, I'm watching too much TV. The Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
But it
those
had nothing.
days.
It had nothing to do with that. It's just one of those things I knew from a very early age that I was a creative. I would not have survived. Luckily, my mom was on my side of it because she was like, okay, so we force her to study whatever we think is good for her, and then she studies, and then she's not happy with it. Then what?
What then what?
So,
Supportive
yeah,
mother.
very supportive.
Nice.
She's very supportive.
Yeah, because honestly, I think society has it. Because also when I was growing up, they would want people to do teaching and all those things. So fashion designing is not really that popular.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so like, how was it when you did you know right away that this fashion designing is what you wanted to do, or were you motivated by something?
No, like I said, growing up, I used to
The drawings.
and I found out later in life as well that my grandmother, though she didn't study it from my mother's side, was also into the sewing and which is probably why my mom was more supportive of it, because she saw it when she was growing up with her mom. But also my mom, I think if she grew up in a different time, she probably would have, because she's very interested in interior. She wanted to actually study it, but because of the way we grew up, so she went into nursing, because it's the one thing that is one of the things that is considered the right kind
Yeah.
of, you know,
Yes.
it's stable. That's the
Yes.
word I'm looking for. More
Yeah.
stable, so you'll be able to. But also, I just think with our parents, they didn't have the choices that we
Yeah,
have.
that's
Even
good.
with
I wanted
us,
to add on that,
Yeah.
yes, because like it's either you become a nurse or you become a teacher
Yeah.
or you become a
Doctor.
lawyer or a doctor, and I think it's what they were exposed to at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's very nice that your grandmother used to sew, and
Yeah.
then, you know, and it like flowed into the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, because I didn't even meet my grandmother. She passed away before I was born.
Really?
Because my mom, she passed away when my mom was young. So it's just one of those where you start seeing the genes and things
Yes.
Yeah.
when such things, when you're being told, oh, your grandmother used to do what
Yeah.
you remind me of your grandmother
Yeah,
or your
that's
aunt
so
who
nice.
you've never even met. So
Yeah.
like, you know, genealogy is
Yeah.
in there. We
Yes,
don't.
That's very
Sometimes you're so blind to it, and then you meet somebody that tells you, like maybe an aunt that you haven't even met. Because with
Yeah.
our families, as Black people, there's always somebody
Yeah.
in a family, at
Yeah.
a wedding, whatever, who you've never met,
Mm.
and then we'll tell you, oh, you remind me of this
Oh, you
person.
look like
You
this
look
Yeah,
like-
true.
Or your mannerism is so much like your
like this one,
grandmother.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of those.
Yeah, so as much as we know, like fashion, like I think media, it's a nice to do, but like what would you say to someone, a child out there who wants to study like fashion designing, and obviously the mom is saying no, you must do nursing, you must do teaching, is it worth it? Obviously from your honest perspective and how you found it, would you say it's something worth fighting with your parents about?
If you're doing it because you really love it,
Yeah.
and you're not doing it because you think you're gonna be the next Kim Kardashian or whatever,
Yeah.
because the honest truth about my career is it's very hard.
Yeah.
So if you did it because you thought it was easy, it is not.
Yeah.
It's very hard to make a substantial living
Yeah.
as a fashion designer, but also it's like every other person wants to be a fashion designer, so you need to know which part of fashion, because there's like a lot of different
Yeah.
sides of it. When I got into it, I wanted to be a buyer actually.
Yeah.
And then later on in my career, then after learning the business, then do my
Yeah.
own label and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also very hard to get into buying, which is how I ended up in visual merchandising, because it's part of it. It's part
Yeah.
of the same department.
Yeah.
So you need to know. It can't just be because someone that you are following on YouTube is
Yeah.
a designer and you think you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to love it.
Yeah.
You have to do your research.
Yeah.
Also, the passion you need to, because one of my lecturers said to me the first day we got into class
Yeah.
is it seems very glamorous to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
in the but it's not, because
Yeah.
we're literally the construction workers of
Yeah.
it, because
Yeah.
we're in the background, which for me is one of the things that I love about it.
Yeah.
People see me and they think I'm like, because of my hair and how I
Yes.
dress,
Yeah.
they think I'm but I'm really not. I'm actually shy.
Really?
So the fact that everything I am actually is just, you know me from a long time ago, so
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with you and I
Okay.
can have.
Oh.
But which is also why a lot of people meet me and they think I'm
Yeah.
either stuck up or whatever, because what it happens when I meet you,
Yeah.
I'm chilled first so I can see the situation.
Oh.
You know?
And yes.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but you know, when I saw you, like your hair, what you just said, when people see your look,
Yeah.
they assume, because like for me, it gives that bold statement,
Yeah.
like that courage for you to even have that kind of hair, you
Yeah.
know. So obviously, someone would go like, this one."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
but it's the other way around. Like
Yes.
how I am,
Yes.
like outside, it's who I am, but
Yeah.
I'm not in your face. I'm not
Okay.
loud and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about fashion is, if you're going to be in fashion, you need to know you are the one in the background.
Yeah.
It's not about you,
Yeah.
which is what I love about it for me, because my work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I never need to be
Oh,
in
yeah,
front.
true.
So if you do a fashion show and then afterwards you have to walk out,
Yeah.
I am usually shaking.
Yeah.
Like the
To walk
few
out.
fashion shows that I've done, I am shaking because I can't. I don't. I
You've
don't
done
do
fashion
well.
shows?
Yeah.
I have.
That
I
is
have,
so cool.
I have, but
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
when we're walking out, I'm holding on to whoever is next to me, because,
Yeah.
and also I'm not gonna walk all the way. I will
Yeah.
walk 5 steps and then I wave and then
Yeah.
I go back. So the thing about it, if you're really into it, do the research, and if you want to have your own label, that's great.
Yeah.
But have something that you're doing still. If fashion is the only thing you want to do, have something
Yeah.
that you're doing in the fashion industry
Yeah.
to teach you. Because also what I learned from people that I went to school with
Yeah.
is coming out of school immediately and trying to start your label. It's very hard.
Yes,
A lot of them fail because they don't know how to, because
Yeah.
in school we're not really taught how to run the
Yes.
business.
How to
Right?
approach
It's about
investors.
Yeah.
it's about they nurture the creativity, how to make the clothes
Yeah.
from the design to
Yeah.
the making of it, but
Yeah.
you don't really get to nurture the how to run a business part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You have like business studies is like for a year.
Yeah.
It's like just introduction into those other things that
Yeah.
you need. It's never in depth.
Okay.
So you need to get yourself into a situation where you're learning. Either
Yeah.
follow someone, like apply for internships and
Yeah.
stuff, because it is super hard to
Yeah.
make money in
The-
any form of art in
Okay.
Africa as a whole. Actually,
Yeah.
not just South Africa.
That's very true. So I think for some of us who don't know anything about fashion, because for me, I only associate fashion with clothes. Like, what is like fashion? Are there different types of like fashion designing? And if so, like, can you please just teach us so that we know,
Yes,
so that we are not stereotyped?
There's quite a lot of like different things. Some people do like African inspired designs. Some
Okay.
people only do formal, like, work stuff. And
Okay.
then there's some people that do weddings, just wedding dresses. And then there's some people that do casual stuff, like,
Yeah.
stuff that you find in your Mr. Prices and stuff.
Yeah.
But just like with everything,
Yeah.
you need to find out what you like. 'Cause I don't like menswear.
Yeah.
I like women's wear because, first of all,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things in the industry. Like, it's like they think we're all the same.
Yeah.
I love different things. Like,
Yeah.
I will buy something and then I'll go and change it up to the way I want because
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't there.
Go and redesign
Yeah.
it
Yes.
to suit you.
Yes,
yeah.
because I've got a bit of tomboy and then a bit of girly in there, but
Yeah.
there isn't a mix. It's either they're doing way too masculine things for
Yeah.
women or too girly. There's never anything in the middle.
between. Wow.
But now I'm realizing a lot of designers have realized women like having things with pockets. So
Yeah.
like
Okay.
dresses come with pockets, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of things. You have to do men's. You
Yeah.
need to know with menswear, there's really so much. For someone who's into it,
Yeah.
they'll probably say something different to what I'm saying. For me,
Yeah.
menswear is boring because I can never move the zip.
Yeah.
Because
The zip needs to be
it
there.
needs to be with women. I can do the zip on the side, on the front.
Yeah.
I can do a lot more with women. You
I
can, no,
That
but
is so
you-
true.
Yeah.
I'm processing what she's saying. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, where else would this?
Yes.
Zippy.
Yeah, it's just you just have
Okay.
to find
Yeah.
you just have to find your niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you into? So that's my thing is
Yeah.
like there's a lot of people like me that are not too girly, not too
Yeah.
boyish, like in the middle there. So
Yeah.
it's
It's like that. So do you think there are a lot of people who are doing who have noticed what you are saying about being in the middle, or are people generally more on the too girly or the too boy?
I think it's I'm not sure, but I think there are some people that are doing. But the other thing I'm noticing with anything art, right,
Yeah.
is that a lot of people move with trends.
Oh.
So you need to, I feel, if you are doing something, find your lane and stick to it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who is saying, because with fashion, it is the biggest recycling machine ever. Like right
Yes.
now, if you walk around, kids are wearing things that we used to wear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kids are wearing things that were in the music videos, like
Yeah.
the big
Yes.
baggy jeans and
Yeah.
the baggy, so it
Yes.
will always come. So if you find what you are about and
Yeah.
stick to that,
Yeah.
obviously do bits and changes that goes with what is happening, because you
Yes.
can't always just stay in one
One
thing
thing,
and just
yes.
like lack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it, like, because a lot of people tend to, and that's probably why a lot of people fail, because they tend to move away from their original,
Oh, yes.
trying to
To
move
blend
with the
in.
trends, because they think if they're moving with the trends,
Yeah.
then it's gonna happen. But what it is you're just diluting your brand.
Yes.
You also end up forgetting what your brand is about.
Yeah.
Stand for.
So yeah.
What I want to ask you is that what do you specifically do in fashion? Like, are you
Right.
a design? What do you do like in?
Well, for me, I enjoy, so there's two groups, right, in the fashion world, right? There's the creative and then the people that like making the clothes.
Yeah.
For me, I can design anything
Yes.
as long as there's someone who's gonna make it. I
Okay.
hate
So
the
you are a
making.
designer.
Oh.
I hate the making of
Okay.
it.
Why?
I can. One of the reasons is I am I guess you could say perfectionist in a way.
Oh.
So if something is not looking straight, I am gonna keep undoing that thing until
the material falls off.
yeah. So it's one of those, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
But I've never really. Besides that, I've never enjoyed that part. I
Okay.
enjoy.
So you are a designer.
Yeah, I enjoy but in school you get to do all of it. You
Yeah.
have to do all of it. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed the creative design part of it.
Yeah.
I can go as far as pattern because it's numbers. I also
Yeah.
like numbers, but
Mhm.
like the sitting down after you've cut the thing and then making it,
Yeah.
it's not one of my favorite things. I have a machine.
Oh,
Sometimes I will do something, but most of the time it's just chilling because I don't like the making.
I hear
That
you.
part is
Yeah.
not my favorite.
Hmm.
Oh, I hear
Oh,
you.
very,
Okay.
very nice.
You mentioned something about patterns and the numbers.
Yeah.
What is that? Like,
So it starts, so how it is, right? You
Uh-huh.
start with the design,
okay.
right? That's where you come up with whatever is in your head, you put it together.
Yeah.
And then for it to get to this,
Yes.
there has to be the pattern. So that's the sizing, how it's cut, and so you do that on paper. And then you-
Oh, I see. I remember now because then they will have the arm number 1.
Yeah.
And then, oh, so that's the pattern.
That's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
pattern, and then that moves onto the fabric. You cut it, seam allowances, and all that stuff, and then you make it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's 3 things that you do. It's the creative design, and then you have the pattern, and then you have
The
The-
actual, yes.
yes.
Okay.
And so you are not really big on being on social media. I think we've discussed this before.
Yeah.
Why? Because I think a lot of people take social media, especially with fashion, as a way to advertise their brand,
Yes.
advertise what they. Why are you like? I was even asking, why are you not big on that?
Well, because right now, I am, like I said, I'm a visual merchandiser for Valence. So if you go on my LinkedIn,
Yeah.
that's very busy because I'm putting up my work there.
Oh, so,
So
you're on
for now,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
Yes.
so
As who, by the way?
So that
Sheila,
you
just Sheila Motsiyane.
Sheila Motsiyane.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe someone would like to go onto your LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's why I'm
profile.
asking. And
So
you.
that's why I'm not, because with my fashion stuff, I'm still trying to get into that. Once that has picked up and
Yeah.
I'm where I need it to be, then I'll get onto it. But for now, like I said, I am shy. So my social media is literally about me. My Instagram is private, not because I think I'm old, but because I want to control who
comes
has
in
the So
and
it's
sees,
very
yes.
That's
Okay.
that's literally it.
But yeah,
I
okay.
just it's about, I choose the people that get to see that part of me,
Yeah.
because that's personal. But once the business, then yes, I have a business account, then that
Yeah.
I can do on a regular basis. But my personal
Yeah.
is very I'm very boring. People don't believe that, but I'm very boring.
I really don't think so. You think you are boring. I really don't think you are boring.
No, but seriously, like a lot of my friends would be like, "But you don't post so much." I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but yeah, it's like, for me, honestly, my social media is almost like an online album type thing.
Oh,
If
to
If there's
say-
something a memory that I want to,
Yeah.
yes, then
you-
that's what I do, because I keep losing phones
Oh,
with my
yeah.
pictures. Now there's cloud, which is great,
Yes.
but yeah, that's literally what my social media is about. Like,
Yeah.
in a year, I literally could post like 3 times.
Yeah.
So yeah,
okay.
that's why.
Oh, okay. And then, so what I wanted to ask is fashion designing exactly what you thought? You know, you've got visions and dreams in your mind. If you look back, is it what you thought
Yes.
it was going to turn out to be like?
No, like, I love everything about it,
Yeah.
but I also hate how much money you need for it to start.
yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
You can't start it on like 50 rand.
Yeah.
You know, like, I remember when I finished, right, I wanted to be part of YDE. I was like,
Ew.
looking
Yes,
into it.
I remember.
Yeah, I
Like,
was looking into it, but to be part of the people in YDE,
Yeah.
you had to have, I forgot how much you
Yeah.
had to have, so that they know
okay.
that if they need designs, if they need clothes, you
Yeah.
have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though
I
it's
remember
young,
YDE.
it's young. What is it?
Young-
Young Designers Emporium.
Yes. Sorry, is that shop still?
Yeah, it's still around.
Really?
It is.
Because I
It's
used to
still
love
around.
YDE when it
Yeah.
came, because it had nice clothes, you know,
Yeah.
fashion and all these things.
Yeah.
It's still around.
It's still around.
It's just it's
Interesting.
it's the money. You need money to, which is why I'm saying, if there is a kid out there that's interested in it, they
Yeah.
need to know, like, you're doing it because you love it, not because cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
So you do your research and do other things.
Yeah.
You know, like get a job, even if it's in the fashion industry, so you learn
Yeah.
while you're pushing the
Inspire,
other
yeah.
side,
Yes.
because we don't get to be told that, because in our world, right, like art isn't something that parents are like pushing
Yes.
for you to
Yeah.
do. Recently, yeah, I'm seeing it because with my cousins and stuff, I have one who just graduated from fashion,
Yeah.
and we had that conversation. So now he's a intern buyer.
Yeah.
So they are things that you can do in the fashion industry to make the money,
Yeah.
to kind of help you get to finally getting your own label. But the thing about it is, if you don't have the money, it's
Yeah.
really hard, which
To
is why
start.
your Kanye Wests
Yeah.
can just decide
Yeah,
that
because they have the
because
money.
they have
Yeah.
the money, you know?
It takes money to make money.
Yes.
at
It
the end of
does.
the day.
It does. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how passionate you are or how talented you are, you
Yeah.
still need the money.
Yeah.
And there are government
Yeah, I was about to
thingies,
ask
yeah.
that.
There are, but it's also very hard to get them.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
The
there's-
list.
Or the connection, you know,
It's usually
you need to know someone.
yeah, that and
KG.
Yeah.
it's just
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in SA, it's just one of those. You either know somebody or you are lucky enough that you got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's your time, whatever, but
Yeah.
it's very hard to make a living
Yeah.
in fashion, especially.
Yeah.
All the other arts are not so difficult. Like interior is not as difficult. You can, but
Yeah.
like fashion is hard because every other person is either a fashion designer or you have somebody who can make. They can
Yes,
take this
yes.
as seamstress and whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I know a lot of designers have a problem with is people who want to negotiate prices. I say to you, to do
Oh.
this is this much because I know the amount of work that it
Yeah.
works. But the same person will walk into a Louis Vuitton store
And
and,
just-
then buy
Yeah.
things for like thousands.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying 800 or whatever,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
But you need to realize I'm starting from the design.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna do the pattern.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come back, I'm doing it, you're gonna come back, and then we're gonna
Do a
try it
fitting.
on.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, I need to make sure that it works exactly and that you're happy with.
Yeah.
There's all of that. There's the labor. I
Yeah.
need to pay electricity for using.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Yes.
things, but like
Yeah.
our people don't believe in that. They're always trying to either get it for free
Yeah.
or how discounting yana type
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
it's really hard to have a business
Yeah.
and it's usually friends and families that
Yes,
are always
yes,
so
obviously,
quick
yeah.
on the
True.
discount thing, and
Yeah.
you can't,
Family discount, friendship.
Yeah.
and you can't pay bills with family
No,
discounts.
you
Yeah.
can't.
And honestly,
really
your
can't.
family we should be knowing that it's quite difficult because they are close to you, so they should actually be. Yeah, I know it's usually family which gives it. So I wanted to like go back because I think you said your dad was not happy with the decision that you took to do fashion designing. So for me, did he come around eventually?
Yeah, because my first semester, so that's the first 6 months of me studying.
Yeah.
But he was still my dad. He dropped
Yeah.
me off at school, made sure registration was fine. I
Yeah.
moved in, but he wasn't happy with it because honestly, to be fair for him, he
Yeah.
had never seen any of it. He
Yeah.
didn't know
Yeah.
until I came back home after my first semester,
Yeah.
and he actually saw my work.
Yeah.
Then he realized, oh, okay, so it's
She
not
can do
some
this.
Yeah.
it's not just something that she thought she could do. She's
Yeah.
actually good at it. So
Yeah.
that's when he came around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just that he'd never. I mean, I was doing accounting business
Yeah.
in school. There was
Yeah.
no art. So
Yeah.
for me to for him, it felt like I just woke up and decided
Yeah.
I want to do fashion.
Yeah.
You know, so
That it's been something that's been in you.
until he actually saw the work that I was doing at
Yeah.
school, then
Yeah.
he was like, okay,
let's do.
I see this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking that is because maybe there is a young woman or young man out there who wants to do fashion designing. So I just want to give them that hope that these
Eventually.
parents, eventually
No, they
these
do.
parents do
They
come
do.
around so that they can maybe pursue their passion and
They do. All you have to do is just be consistent.
Yeah.
Like it can't be. The other thing is, as kids, we are very unfair towards our parents.
Yeah.
Like we always have like whims.
Yeah.
I wanna do hockey.
Yeah.
I wanna
do
do
this.
I
Yeah.
wanna do. So they've been through all of your I wanna do's,
Yeah.
and now that you finally found something that you really are serious about,
Yeah.
you forget from 6.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
been I wanna, and
I
you've never
Yeah.
stuck to one thing.
True. Yeah.
So yes, they will have the doubts, but then stick to it and then show them that you're serious about it. Show them
Yeah.
that this is now finally the
Yes.
thing that you are now really into. And yeah, give them time, because for you it's probably been in the back of your mind for
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
some time, and for them it feels like it's just something that you just decided,
Yeah.
like every other thing that
Yeah.
you just decided that you
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, so you would definitely recommend that they should follow their dreams and do what they are passionate about and just be consistent.
But also know how hard it is. Like this is the biggest thing. It is very hard.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, also have something stable on the side.
Yeah.
Like, but if you've got the backing from the parents and the money,
Yeah.
then yeah, for sure. But if you're like me,
Yeah.
and your parents are just regular South Africans also
Yeah.
trying to make do,
Yeah.
you now need to make sacrifices for your dream.
Yeah.
You need to be able to decide, okay, this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
and to get there, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Yeah.
There's no one else that's going to do it for you. So
Yeah.
you have to now put in the time
Yeah.
and everything that it needs,
Yeah.
because it takes a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I can imagine. So who inspires you in the fashion designing space? Is there people you look up to? You like, if I can get to this level, I'll know that I've made it. Or actually what inspires you?
Honestly, there isn't anybody in the fashion industry that I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that person. It's just a collection of a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot his name. There was this dude who was doing SA Fashion Week.
Yeah.
He wasn't a designer. I don't think he was a designer. He was just one of the people that did it, and
Okay.
having a conversation with him and
Yeah.
hearing like how he got into it.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, different people, even if they're not in my industry,
Yeah.
just hearing from other people's experiences.
Yeah.
But definitely Anna Wintour. That's somebody that
Yes.
I'm like,
I don't even know her.
oh
when
my
you-
gosh.
Sorry, you know her. You
Yeah.
like the Kardashians.
Yes.
There was a time when North was a baby.
Yeah.
And she's a white lady
Yeah.
with white hair. Ne?
Yeah.
And then Kim Kardashian was sitting with her, and North was making like crying, and it was a whole media frenzy.
Oh,
And yeah,
that's her.
Yeah, that woman.
what is
that,
she famous for?
She's fashion. She's a fashion icon.
she's a
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's not a designer though. Like
Yeah.
she's
Wow.
just, you must do yourself a favor and just Google Anna Wintour.
I'm telling you.
She is the spine of fashion right now. Like she's, because also I think she started young and she's
Yeah.
older now.
Yeah.
She's done a lot for fashion. She's
Yeah.
done a lot, and as
And for
a
women,
female,
and
yeah,
for women
as
as
a
well. She done
female,
it.
like, because she's literally one of, if not the person when it comes to fashion and stuff, that people like your Kim Kardashians
Yes.
would like to
Yeah.
get a high five from her,
Oh,
because she's
it's a big thing. Like
Oh.
if Anna went like Kim Kardashian,
Yeah.
she was humble.
Yeah.
I think she dressed her for when she was pregnant or something like that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But,
But
yeah.
Kim was like, oh my God,
Oh.
she cannot believe that. And Anna did her. So she's
Oh.
very, very, I love
Oh,
her. I
okay.
love
yeah,
her
so
style.
that's
research.
one person for me. Anna Wintour is like, oh, she is the goddess of fashion.
Yeah.
Like even the way she dresses, she just did a shoot
Yeah.
a week or 2 weeks ago. I actually had it on my status.
Oh.
Like it's
The
like,
WhatsApp status.
yeah, and she looks good too. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's just like from life, just
Yeah.
learning from people, even if they're not in the fashion industry or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just there are a lot of people that are doing things that they're passionate about, and you learn.
Yeah.
And that's also one thing that I feel we don't do as Black people.
Yeah.
We don't surround ourselves with people that are, it might not be in your industry, but like that are very passionate about things and speak good into you.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear you.
we surround ourselves with people that make us doubt who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm so happy.
And the more you hear something,
Yeah.
the more you tend to believe it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if you surround yourself with people that
Yeah, for
doubt you,
me,
yeah.
I feel like I'm very lucky to have the family and the friends that I have that I've accepted that this.
I just want to conclude this fashion discussion because there are other things that I want to talk to you about. But in conclusion, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years' time with the fashion space?
I would love to have my label up and running.
Okay.
One of the things I do want to do that I've been looking into is something similar to your YDE,
Okay.
but what I want to do is have young designers in one space, right?
Yeah.
But also have other people in there that are like mentoring the business and also to cut it so that they don't get so dependent on it, like maybe make it a year or 2 years where
Yeah.
we teach you how to run your business and everything else that
yes.
comes with it,
Yeah.
because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that. And also in the interior, like the fashion in the interior, I'd like for that to somehow, still haven't figured out how I'm gonna get them both to gel in
intertwine,
me.
yes.
But like my biggest thing besides the label and is the emporium, where you teach, I don't even think I should make it just fashion, just art in general.
Yes.
Like how to, because we have a lot of very talented young people out
Yeah.
there that don't know how to take the talent to the public
Yeah.
and how to actually
Monetize
run.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's not them running it themselves, like
Yeah.
know who to hire and just to teach them the business
Wow.
side of it, because we are
That's
not
awesome.
taught that.
It
So
is.
yeah,
It
that's
is.
what I would love to see happen.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Don't know the time frame because I've learned in life,
Yes.
what you say doesn't always
It
happen.
happened
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, that's why it brings to the next part of the that I want us to talk about, and which are in line with what I usually talk about, and it's kids. Obviously, I know that you don't have kids, and when we were growing up, you used to love kids so much. So I would have hoped by now maybe you would have had 5 or yeah.
No, I do. I love kids. Still the same. I love being around kids. It's just my situation, my life situation, financial situation has not gone to a point where I feel like I can.
Yeah.
But also I haven't actually actively tried to have kids. So
Yeah.
it's not like something that is I've tried and it's failed. It's
Yeah.
not medical.
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of, because I
Yeah.
haven't checked
Tried,
anything
yeah.
and I haven't tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, still love kids. Kids
Still
are the
love
best
kids.
things in the world. And I love the freedom of having them
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time
Time
and
and
then
then
giving them
like,
back to their
bye.
parents. So yeah, no. I would love to have kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be biologically mine.
Yeah.
If I can't, I'm still okay with adoption.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to be a mom
Okay.
at some point in
So
life.
I just for the record, obviously you want to do the fairy tale thing, get married and have kids. You know how it goes.
Yes, yes.
No, I've said this before. I can see myself as a mom.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see myself as a wife.
Why? I'm
Don't know.
really interested.
I don't know. I've had that.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can see myself as
Sorry.
but also I think it's just because of who I am and
Mm.
because of my experiences, I guess it's just, I don't know, I haven't met somebody that I feel like I can spend the rest of my
Yeah.
life with. And until I've met that person who I see my everyday with, that
Yeah.
I don't see myself living without,
Yeah.
then maybe I'll get there. But because I haven't met that person yet,
Yeah.
I've met some pretty cool people. Like
Yeah.
I've dated some really amazing people, but I
Yeah.
just didn't see them as my forever. And
Yeah.
until that happens, then maybe I'll see myself as that.
Yeah.
But for now,
Sorry, so are you currently dating or seeing someone in a relationship?
yeah. It's
Are you
No
having
comment.
fun? Are you having fun?
No, I am. The thing is, there is somebody, but it's like like he wants to move from SA, so it's also like I don't want to overinvest, and then he's like now in the UK, because I'm also not just gonna pick up and leave with him without having a plan, because he's had this plan way before we met. And so his plan is to be out of here latest March next year. So it's one of those, like, he's pretty cool, we're like great together, but I'm also probably just holding back because I know that he's not planning on being around. He says I can come with, but I feel like he's just saying that. But even if he's not just saying that, I'm not just gonna pick up and be his burden if I don't have a plan.
That's
I totally.
So one of the questions I want to ask, which we have to talk about, is society, like pressure from society. Like, you know, obviously we are at an age where when you don't have kids, don't you get pressures from the society to say, hey?
No, I do. But one of the things about me is I really don't care what anybody has to say about me, but I've like now got like answers, you know. You've got the very Christian people that love being in people's rooms, you know, like, and people's lives. So if it's one of those, my generic answer to them is when Jesus has decided that it's time, and that usually shuts them up. But then you have their families, and my thing is always, but like, are you not concerned about, am I with the right person? Am I happy?
True.
Is there a person? Like, you know, so it's just one of those. And one of the things is there are a lot of people having kids just because society deems it it's time. And then we have a lot of single parents, we have a lot of kids growing up without both parents, and that does something to a kid. That does a lot. They carry so much, and because also as a kid, for some reason we always blame ourselves for things that have nothing to do with us. So now there's that kid out there walking around with dad, and then they don't get help. Then they grow up and then they meet somebody, and then they take that trauma into that relationship. There's a lot of things that we don't think about when we think about kids. They just think, oh, but at this age you should at least have 2.5 or whatever. But they don't think of
the pressure,
all the things that happens.
True.
Not even for you, for that kid who's now growing up with parents that are forever fighting because we did this because your mom wanted your mom wanted you to have kids. My mom, we met, and then like, you know what? Biological clock is ticking. My other answer as well, when someone is like telling me about my age, I'm always like, Janet Jackson had a baby at 50.
But the baby's fine, and it's all grown now.
But we've like medically, we've gone so many changes and like so many improvements. There's a lot, but like the thing that I wish our society would just learn as well is a lot of people love asking, when are you having kids? And but you don't know the other person's situation. What if she's actually trying and something is wrong? And the other thing I'm also realizing is sometimes it's the men, but they will never admit that it's always the woman. So if say me and my husband or me and my boyfriend decide we want to have kids, and then I go and then I check and I find I'm fine, it'll take a lot longer for the men to actually go and decide, let me check. There's some that will, but it's also the thing that in society, especially our black society, it's always the women that's blamed for no kids. It's like they don't think that it could be the man's problem. So it's just there's a lot of
there's a lot of
having
judgment.
And I get those.
And also some people just choose not to have kids.
There are some people that make that decision.
Both of them are fine, healthy. They can have kids, but they just choose not to. You know. And always, like, what I don't like is the pressure that we as women get on everything. Everything. It's very rare that you see the boy child or the man, you know, being pressurized. On this.
And then so for me, like what you are saying, my question would be, I think it's more like a homework to you, to us, and maybe to people out there. How do we change this certain perception about like how like a society expects from women to say at this age? How do we do it for the next generation so that we don't have such pressures?
have conversations with the kids.
Exactly.
And not just the other thing that we're failing is so like we're saying, right, women are under pressure, blah 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 blah. What we're doing is we're nurturing the girls. We're not nurturing the boys. So that's now another so if we nurture both the boys and girls, then we have a society of people that understand feelings and everything that comes with it, because if you're fixing one problem, not the other, there is still a problem. So there's I've heard take a girl child to work. I've never had take a boy child to work.
I almost mentioned the company's name and I was like, okay, let me not go there.
We do those things, and boys are taught boys don't cry. Why? You're human, just like I'm human. You have situations where a girl, you're going out and then I don't take a jacket. I see him taking a jacket, and then later on I'm feeling cold. He's wearing the jacket. I'm expecting him to give me the jacket, but if he's wearing it, he's cold. He came with, and then if he doesn't give it to you, it's oh my gosh, he's not a gentleman. Think for them too. We honestly need to get to a point where we teach girls to just be as considerate as we expect men to be considerate of us. It can't be a one-sided thing. That's literally it. Nurturing both sexes. It can't just be we're nurturing girls and then we're telling boys don't cry. No. Then you grow up with this man who is emotionally immature. Because nobody is nurturing that side of him, and then we expect him to go from that and be the best husband where and also it's the thing where also like he's from a single parent home. He doesn't know what a man is supposed to be doing, and then the mom is very bitter because it didn't work out with the dad and so it's all of those things where with the kids thing, I'm gonna go back to that we also don't realize how you might not say to the kid, but like the way you act around certain things, it sticks to kids. So it's also
give us example. That's very profound what you say. Like when you say the way
but like you're busy, I'm visiting, or we're chilling, and then the baby's playing there, and then you ask about the dad, and then I'm like, that useless one, blah 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 type those kind of things, and not. Because for me, I would like to have a kid, even if we don't end up together. I'd like to have a kid with someone who, once we're not together, we can co-parent, and not just, we are doing this for our kid. If I have kids with someone else, or if he's with someone else that has kids, or they have kids together, I'd like for it to be in a situation where I can actually call and be like, yo, listen, I'm taking Letabo, to Sun City. Can I come get those two? So that them as kids as well, they know their siblings. It's not, you're my half sister or whatever. I only get to see you. When I'm doing something, if I have a girl and I'm taking her to go get her hair done, it's holidays, I'll call, I'm taking this one to go, because they're gonna end up playing together. They're kids. Take them together to do, like, nurture their relationship so that they have that sibling thing, because at some point I'm not there, you're not there. It's just the two of them for each other. So it's that's my thing. Like learning to, because also a lot of places that I've worked, the girls always have this thing like, if he breaks up with me, he's never gonna see his kid. Why?
I really don't think that's
why are you punishing the kid?
But I've seen a lot of people, a lot of famous people or known people that are really doing well with co-parenting. It's starting now. People are starting now to put the child first and knowing that it's not about me anymore, it's about the child. So I see that a lot. And going back to the fact of how do we nurture, how do we teach, you know what you just asked, KG. I think because I have a son, and it's how I teach my son, to express his feelings or his emotions, and to say it's okay to cry, it's okay to wear a pink shirt, you don't necessarily have to wear a blue shirt. It starts with that. And for me, it's like, so my son is the youngest, and then my second born, she's 10. So my son likes to hit Adisa, which is 10. So I teach him, don't do that. You do not beat a woman, because Adisa is your sister. So I think it starts with that, because I remember growing up, it was like a normal thing. So we would play, a boy will come hit you, and then you will run and go, and then nothing is said or done. So that child, I know it might sound maybe pet or whatever, but that child grows up thinking that it's
it's
okay
okay.
to play like that with a woman. You understand? Because that is how, so I think for us, let's start with our kids, and our kids, when they play with other kids, are going to say, no, mommy
that's
said,
wrong.
mommy said, no, you don't hit a girl,
Yes.
and mommy said it's okay to cry, and it's okay to wear a pink or whatever t-shirt,
And also this thing with I don't know if it's just us petty people or if it's every black, but the thing of now me and him break up, and then they have this the child must go with the mother.
Yes, I wanted to also mention that.
No, that is not okay. Yeah, that's not okay. I wasn't alone in the making of that kid, and for the kid, because I don't think people realize how important it is for both families to be involved, because you get to learn who you are because you're a mixture of these. So there's something that they can never give you that you get from this side, and there's what they can't give you because you only get it from this side. So that's also one of those things. Just because you and I didn't work out, we decided to have a kid together. So now whether we're together or not, that decision is staying, because that's the thing about kids, you can't give them back. So once you've made that decision, you need to stick to it. It's we said we wanted this, we said we were going to do this, let's continue doing it, even if we're not doing it from the same house.
It's the best way we possibly can. For sure.
I think you're right, Sheila. What people don't realize is that a child, like if you're a girl, you need both the mother and the father. There's something about just the two love together that will make you have, that will make you grow easier, and that's what they don't realize. I think I don't know if it's Betty, but I think it's the black society. We tend to think co-parenting is mostly for other, days. But
also it then carries to when they're older. Because you've been cut off from this side of the family, right? You know nothing about them, right? And then it's time to start dating. What if you end up with a cousin? What if you end up with a brother because you don't know, because you've been... So there's a lot of things that people don't think about that I've had to think about, because it's like, then you hear, there's a letter, they're there, and then somebody's like,
no, you can't. There were instances like that, that people eventually could not get married because they found out who they are, they are related.
So that's the thing about us as black people, that we need to get over that. This whole thing of, it's more like they're protecting themselves. They're not thinking of the kids, because the kids at some point are going to be grown-ups. Now they end up, now you've met this person, and obviously you click with this person because you don't know you're clicking because it's a family thing. You think you found your other half. But you found your cousin, your uncle, your brother, that's what people need to think about before they then go put pressures on people to start having kids, because people have kids with the wrong people, and it's just, then we are not gonna get this thing right. It's just true. And that's my 2 cents on that one.
Yes, and sometimes, because obviously there's a lot of dynamics in this topic that we're talking about, but you might find sometimes that the mother do try to build the relationship with the father. There's all those dynamics. But what I would like to say is that that mother was trying to build, was trying to, for the child to have a relationship with the father. Try not to speak ill of the father. And even if the father is not interested, I'm not saying lie, but try something like, your dad is currently busy, or your dad is going through whatever emotions. One day when he is ready, he will come to you. But let's try to have a conversation that will not
but the other thing is,
the child.
The other thing that we don't talk about is the guys that are trying and the women that are stopping them.
But there's also women that are trying.
And I think let's direct it to a question so that maybe we can comfort or advise someone. Like, what advice would you give to a mom who, like, maybe when they were young they had a baby and the father left, and now they had to raise the child obviously by themselves, and now obviously 18 years later the child is saying, I want to get to know my dad, but the mom is like, no ways, that's not gonna happen, I raised you with my heart, whatever, like I did this. So like, what advice would you give?
It's hard, right? What I'm gonna say is gonna sound very harsh to the mom.
Yeah.
But it's not about you. It is not about you.
True.
Your feelings have nothing to do with it. The reason the kid is asking for that is because they feel something is missing.
Yeah.
It didn't work out between the two of you, that's great. But
Yeah.
if the kid wants to, try and because you know who the family is,
Yeah.
take them. You don't necessarily have to start that relationship with him because, I mean, it didn't work out. But try and take her to the family then.
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk to the dad,
Yeah.
go via the family.
Yeah.
You know, talk to his moms, talk to the aunts and whoever that, you know, the kid would like to, but take yourself out of the equation. Yes,
Yeah.
you're hurt. Yes, it was brutal for you. You had to do this by yourself because this person didn't want to be part of it. But unfortunately, the kids always want to end up knowing where they come from.
Yes.
So it's not about you. It sounds very harsh. Someone might say it's because she doesn't have kids. No,
No.
it's not even that. It's literally not about you. She's not. And the other thing that ends up happening is the parents end up, the mom, the dad, you know, because sometimes it is the dads that end up with the kids.
Yeah.
They end up feeling like if this kid wants to know the other one, like they did something wrong. You did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I can say to them.
Yeah.
You did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a biological thing where the other one just wants to know.
Yeah.
Like in some cases, like you have kids from different men or women, right? And then you have this kid and you are more like the other one, the little one gets to see their mom's side and their dad's side. And this one knows, "Hore, there is my side."
Yeah.
So like you need to think of that, like having them grow up seeing this one being nurtured by their side. Not necessarily that they've been treated badly by them, but just knowing these aren't my people. I have my people. Why don't they want me? And it turns out it's usually that it's not that they don't want you. It's the thing that I was saying earlier where it's the whole thing of the child belongs to the mom. That they decided to respect that. And if this kid actually goes there, finds these people have been looking forward to meeting me, and they feel that connection. So you have to think of that. They, even if you don't have another kid, they see you with your mom's side of the family and your dad's side of the family, and they only have that one side. They also would love to know what it's like to have that other side. So that's the other thing that we need to think about in all of that.
And what I like to say to that parent, you know, as you said, KG, that 18 years now the child wants to meet the mother or the father, is to say to that mom that, as you said, it has nothing to do with the mother, but also, mom, don't think that the child doesn't love you or doesn't respect you or that you did a bad job. No. The child still loves you, but as you were saying, the reason why is because they had that biological feeling to connect, and that will not tear apart your relationship. You know, so don't be afraid to introduce your child to the mother or the father side after a long period of time or years. Know that that connection, you still have that connection with your child. You know, so them going to the other part of the family, the mother or the father side, it won't ruin your relationship. So don't be afraid, you know, embrace it and encourage your child and be there to support them. You know, and if you want to, depending on the age, you can be vulnerable with your child and say, you know what, I really do want you to meet your father or your mother, but I'm afraid of this. And you find that your child, the children, you know, they're very smart. They go like, no, mommy, I'll still love you. You're still my mommy. I just want to meet my dad, you know? So I do encourage you to do that,
But also with us, right, there's cultural things as well. There's a lot that I'm learning as I'm growing older. Like there's a lot of things. With us, it's not just about wanting to see this person. There's a lot of cultural things. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot of things that happen culturally that, I don't know, you're blocked and whatever, and now 20 years later, 30 years later, you're being told it's because your grandmother from this side, and you're not even aware of that. So there's a lot of things. It's not just, it doesn't stop at being a kid. It continues with you until...
It's very, very true. So I think vice versa as well. I would like, what would you give, what advice would you give to a young girl who has just, wants to connect with the dad, and like the mom is pushing and saying this will not happen, what advice would you say? Would you say just go ahead and do it without your mom's blessing? What advice would you?
Again, right? It's literally about that kid.
Yeah.
So as much as it might seem like it's disrespectful to the mom or the dad that they do this, if it's something that you're feeling you need to do that, and that's the thing, you can't switch off that feeling once it starts.
Okay.
Because it might even start from very young and you don't realize what it is, and then you grow up with it, it festers, and then it gets to a point where there's really nothing you can do. It's just something that you feel like you need to do, and there's usually a reason behind it. Like I said, there's like cultural things and stuff. Like, sit your mom down or your dad down and talk to them and tell them, listen, this has nothing to do with how you raised me. It is not going to change how I feel about you, but this is something I need to do for me. And I'm sorry if it hurts you, but unfortunately, this is something that I need to do for me. For me to be okay, this is what I need to do. You might have had a bad experience. And that's the other thing. I understand parents try to protect because they know the relationship and whatever. But also my thing is, let them experience it for themselves, because you actually don't know what is gonna happen. Be ready for if they're disappointed, and don't say I told you so. If they're disappointed, be the dad, hug them, be the mom, hug them, and tell them how sorry you are, and that this is why I was protecting you. You know, and if it happens that they meet and then it's great, they just keep house on fire, they get along, and like, don't try and persuade them to not have a relationship with them. Encourage them to, because that does a lot for their growth as well. Either way, whether it's good or bad, it does a lot for their growth.
And for me, what I would say to that child, if you don't have the courage or the strength to talk to your mother or father, ask a family member to go with you, to have that conversation with one of your parents, with your aunt, or with someone that can sit with you, with your mother or with your father, to have that conversation should you want to connect with your mother or your father. Get support if you can, and if you're not able to do it on your own.
And I think whether you are a dad or a mom, if you raised your child well, they are not going to be replaced you're not going to be replaced because now the child wants to see if you laid the foundation very well, your child will know that this is my mom or this is my dad, and no one is going to replace that bond.
That's the thing that the parent, the mom, the dad, that they need to get to is, she's not, or he's not trying to replace you. It's just something for them that they need. And as a parent, you should want your kid to be happy. If this is one of the things that will get them there, support them. It's
not as easy.
It's not as easy, but like, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, if you're in a situation where you are raising your kid by yourself, at some point that kid is going to, unless they did see a situation where maybe one was abusive toward the other and they saw it and they don't want to have that. But if it's a situation of they've never even met, they are going to want to know. And it's also not necessarily about the dad, it's about the family. They might feel like their dad is or their mom is not the person I want to meet, but I would like to meet my grandmother, my cousins, my aunts, and
And are you the fun auntie? Like, like people
I am. I'm the one who will play with the kids. Like I said, for me, it's like I'll be around them at first for a week. But it's also just me. I have that little kid in me. I love boy kids. If you have boys, I will be there playing rugby and cricket.
She's a boy mom.
3 boys. I was telling you that you must come and babysit.
I will. I will tire them out. But if you have a girl, like my cousin has a little girl, her name is Bokang. Sweetest little girl on the planet. I will do what she wants. If she wants to play dolls, why not? So because for me it is really about just that week I'm like with them, or that day I'm with them, and it's not like an everyday thing. But also I'm not the one who's just gonna let them do things. But I don't shout though. I can't shout.
You're very zen and calm.
So I'll tell them no because of 1, 2, 3, 4. And for example, I used to babysit for my aunt, right? And my cousin is a boy, does not like eating, does not like bathing. So if it's the day, if it's just me and him, then he'll say he wants to go play, and then I'm like, okay, cool, take a bath, I'll make you food, and then you can go. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, then you can't go play. Then he goes back into his room because video games. And then his friends start coming knocking. It's like, come over here. I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah, no, he is. He's in his room. Can he come play? No, he can't. Can we go in and play? No, you can't.
You seem like such a strong person who knows what they want, and obviously I don't think everyone is like that. So what advice would you give to someone out there who doesn't have kids, whether they are trying or whether it's a choice that they are making, to sort of like be strong and fight against what the society expects?
My advice would be, don't do it because people are saying it's time for you to do it. Do it when you feel yourself that you're ready, right? Because like I said, kids are, once you have that kid, it's forever. And if you are trying and you're having problems, there's a lot of things that you can look into. Adoption is one of the things for me that I'm thinking. If you've got the money, surrogacy, but also like, because the thing is with that, there's so much with our society that they still will have lots to say about it, So like I'm saying, when you're doing it, whatever your decision is, when you're doing it, do it and know that it's about you. You're not doing it for your mom, you're not doing it for his family. You're not doing, like, sit down with your partner and have this conversation. Like, if you haven't had the conversation about the kids, have conversation about kids. Like, if we can't, then what are we doing? A lot of us have cousins who has a lot of kids that they can't help, that they can't take care of. Would you rather do that, take in someone's kid, or do you want to do adoption? Do you want to try in vitro? Do you want to try surrogacy? But when you're doing that, do it because you want to, not because you're feeling the pressures. Because I feel if there are pressures and you're trying to have a kid, that's probably one of the reasons you can't, because your body is
pressuring your body.
Because you need to be, I'm assuming, because I don't know this, but I'm assuming if you're going to be pregnant, what you need to be is at your most relaxed, because that's one of the hardest things to do, right? To grow a whole human being inside of you, your body has to be at its most relaxed, and so
and it's never the same afterwards. So you need to be prepared for that. That's very true.
Just do it because you're ready and you want to, not because someone is pressurizing you. Even if it's your husband, sit him down and have that conversation with him. Like, I understand because of 1, 2, 3, 4, but also understand from my side, 1, 2, 3, 4, reach a consensus. It can't just be about the other person, because then the other one isn't happy. So have a conversation together.
True.
Very true. Yo, Sheila, thank you so much for coming. Like, I think it's been 20 years since we've seen each other.
Something.
20
I last
something.
saw you in 2001.
Wow. It's been so long. So
but you kept contact, obviously.
Obviously we were chatting on WhatsApp, and funny enough, we don't stay too far to each other. So I think we need to revive that.
Yes, we do.
Thank you,
Sheila. Thank you so much. I enjoy the fashion part. And also the second part, of course. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Coming and having a chat with us and our subscribers.
Yes, and I think in conclusion, what we wanted to take out of the episode is to show you guys about fashion, the fun part about fashion, and obviously the fun part about choosing careers, and whichever career you choose, always stick to it if it's something you're passionate about. And obviously the second part is that it's society can dictate that you have kids or not have kids. At the end of the day, it should be about you and what you want. And so guys, thank you guys for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. We really want to grow. We want those numbers to grow. We want those views to grow as well. Thank you. See you next time, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.